Oh yeah. Oh, we're doing great.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you, Dave. We're gonna probably just bust right around and get rolling first. Yeah. We might try out at the end of the bench first and just kind of.
There's a ramp out here too.
Okay. All right. After you, Jason.
All right, thank you.
This is Jason from Yakima, Dave.
Wenatchee.
Oh, sorry. God.
Close enough. Oh wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, you could even fly that Indian sight.
Oh yeah.
You can see it real good right now.
Oh, is that right? Oh my goodness.
Through here?
Yep.
Morning. I'm Jason.
Here. Coffee's here. And
Nice to
we'll go
meet
out
you.
there.
Go out here.
Rager's coffee.
Okay.
And there's honey.
Oh, this is.
Pour your own. You want honey and milk? Or what do you want in your coffee?
I think in just a bit we'll take care of it, but I think we got a one-track mind here at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, we might. It's your call, Jason, but I'm guessing just as close as we can get, so
Yeah,
we can get a
absolutely.
good sight line. Okay, well we'll just bust out there. We'll come right back in a bit, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us come out here. Appreciate it.
Hi everybody, this is Nick Zentner back in the office in Ellensburg, putting an unusual video together. Hope you enjoy it. I'd like to thank Gary Fabian, Charles Scholl, Bruce McCammon, Jim Matilla, and others who helped me learn about this place called Lodgestick Bluff. It's on the map. Can you see it? Where does it say petrified tree? Would you believe me if I told you this is a map from 1839? It was a major landmark on the Columbia River, and when I saw that label, petrified tree, I visualized this. 2-minute geology, 2-minute geology. Hello, young people. Petrified wood, out hiking today near Vantage, Washington, in the Ginkgo Petrified Forest State Park. There's a petrified tree right there, still standing. 15.5 million year old tree. So after careful study of 19th century documents, which I'll talk about in just a second, we're now clear that the standing log that we just saw in that video is not Lodgestick Bluff. Instead, you can see on this map the location of this mysterious petrified log that appears to be pressed against a sheer basalt lava wall overlooking the Columbia River, something that had been noticed by many people down the river for thousands of years, but with white folks starting in the 19th century. So this is not down by Vantage. Instead, this is directly across the river from Potholes Coulee, otherwise known as Ancient Lakes, but it's south of a very well-known landmark called West Bar. The giant ripples of West Bar, just upriver from the famous Gorge Amphitheater. What do these ripples in central Washington tell us about our geologic past? Even though this is a desert today, those ripples behind me were created 14,000 years ago when a massive Ice Age flood of water came barreling through this Columbia River Valley. How do we know the date? How can we prove that water made those ripples? There's evidence out here. Let's investigate. Geology is built on the adage, the present is the key to the past. I included West Bar in this show because it's a landmark north of Lodgestick Bluff, but also that's where I first learned about this hanging stick. That's Gary in the white hat, and Gary owns a boat and offered to take me across the river with a film person. That's Chris Smart doing some work for the video you just saw. And as we were boating up the river to get to West Bar, Gary said, I'd really want to show you guys this incredible log. And I've been interested in Lodgestick Bluff ever since. Oh, look at Chris Smart and his silver hair. Very nice. Not happy to be on camera. He's usually behind the camera. So back to the main point of this video. I invited Jason from Wenatchee, who flies drones for fun, to meet me down across from Lodgestick Bluff a couple weeks ago. And he said, sure, I'd be happy to do that. That sounds like fun. We got to get there early, though. So we met shortly after sunrise, and thanks to Dave and Jeannie Bishop, who own a home, a beautiful home that you saw at the beginning of this video, they opened up their backyard, it's private, to us to fly the drone and try to get some good images of this very important landmark on the Columbia River. So, the rest of this will be Jason flying his drone and capturing some images of Lodgestick Bluff. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining us. I'm most interested in just the context of this place and your abilities to just capture places, especially with decent light. So I've got, getting details of the log like close up is almost like a bonus at this point. I think it's just
where exactly is that? It's halfway up.
Well, it's going to take me a little while, but I think we can do it. It is about halfway up across the way.
I was reading some of the stuff you'd sent me. It's pretty interesting.
Well, I think so too, and I didn't know a thing about it till last year. Samuel Parker, 1842, in his Journal of an Exploring Tour Beyond the Rocky Mountains. In the afternoon, we passed a perpendicular section of rock, 250 feet high, halfway to the top of which a petrified tree of considerable magnitude is suspended. It appears to be retained in its place by having its roots inserted in the crevices of the rocks, between layers of different eruptions. How it procured its elevated situation is quite a mystery. It could not have vegetated there, unless at the time of its growth it was supported by a surface upon which to rise. And taking the present condition of the rocks, it could not be deposited there by any floods of the river, and certainly it could not be in such case intertwine its roots in the crevices of the rocks. Gentlemen of the Hudson Bay Company and others who navigated this river have amused themselves by shooting off pieces with their rifles, and they assured me it was wholly petrified. Our encampment this evening was a few miles above Long Rapids, which extend 9 miles. Thomas Simons coming down the Columbia River in the fall of 1881. In one of these niches, 1,000 feet above the river, there lies in an inclined position a stick of timber, barkless and white with age. It never grew there. It is 1,000 feet from the top of the vertical bluffs and could not have been put there from above. The only way in which it could have reached its present position was by being caught there when the river was 1,000 feet higher than it is now, drifting in and lodging, and being left there by the receding river. My pilot, old Pierre, an Indian pilot and a voyageur of the old Hudson Bay Company, said that this log was a landmark in the days when this company transported their furs and merchandise up and down the river in bateaux. He says that the Indians always considered that the log was left there when the river was up at that height. This is one link in the chain of evidence that proves that at no distant date the Columbia was a stream of such magnificent proportions that the present river is a tiny rivulet compared with it. If this be the true explanation of the location of this log, it is a remarkable example of the preservation of wood for a long period of time. It may be that the log is petrified, but I had no means of getting at it to determine.
There's no way it could have been. I mean, how long does it take to petrify a log? Millions of years, right?
Yes.
So that's way before. I don't know.
It is. It's way before. So the thought was those guys saw that log up there and they're like, oh, the river must have been really high at one point or something. But this is definitely a log that was turned to stone 16 million years ago.
Right.
Long before there was a river valley here, and so in other words, there's hundreds of those vertical petrified logs like back in the wall that have yet to see the light of day. So it's this, but the fact that it was such a landmark for these guys is pretty wild. All right, so let's see here.
I mean, is it visible from here?
Yes, if I can find it's let's see.
Looks like it's about a couple miles over there.
Yeah, does that worry you just a touch as far as distance?
No, not really. I don't think we're
okay.
above. I think we'll be okay.
Okay. I can see it. God dang the light. So
Well, I see a couple of white. I see it straight ahead.
you do?
Yep. Straight ahead. There it is.
Isn't that something? So wherever you want to get set
yeah,
up.
there's a layer, and it's right above.
That white,
Yep.
white little tan patch right above the tan
Yep.
patch by the river.
And it's kind of framed in by two pieces of gray
Yes.
above.
Yes.
All right. Like I said, I can't guarantee any type of decent video without.
Oh, come on. Now,
But-
you've already done the disclaimer. I know you're good, and I know you don't do video, but you're doing us a great favor by doing this here.
So the idea is just to kind of, I assume, fly over there.
That's you deciding. I feel like I've got enough detailed stuff right on the wall. I almost like.
I mean, I can fly out this way.
Yes,
And
I
do
mean,
a-
Gorge Amphitheater there. Any kind of 360 kind of view, or if you want to approach from the south, or
I'll just fly out this way.
Yeah.
I'll come back this way,
Okay.
and then we'll head up towards the tree over there. It should be blooming this time of year.
Wow, you got one-liners, and you're concentrating at the same time.
Are we on camera already?
We are.
Oh.
So do you like this little protected spot, or did you want to go out to the rim? What works for
I
you?
think this will be okay, as long as
Okay.
we're not over 400 feet and it's in visual line of sight, which I think we'll have. There's no wind.
Okay.
I think we'll be just fine. This is an older drone, so
Looks pretty spiffy to me, and it has done great things for you. Is this the main drone you've had with all those wonderful photos you've
yeah,
posted?
it is. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a hobby. It's nothing I get paid to do or anything that I don't enjoy doing.
Well, sure. And that's the beauty of this now. You can just have an interest and you can share it. Well, you know, it wasn't that long ago you just couldn't share stuff very easily. So
Yeah.
it's Instagram. That's your main way to share what you're doing.
Facebook.
Facebook
usually,
also.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll link both of those to this video, and
Takes just a couple minutes to get set up
oh
here.
yeah, I remember your. So yeah, I'm thinking once you get up in the air, I'll kind of wander around, kind of
Sure.
checking with you occasionally and kind of peer over
Absolutely.
your shoulder. You're going to use your iPad or something to
Well,
drive?
I'm going to use my phone today.
Your phone, okay.
Yeah. I think we used the iPad last time.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you got to meet Jason, and now here's the drone that he's lifting off the ground. And we're just going to view certain segments that he was able to capture. There's the Bishop House, kind of in the sun. Now, the view from the drone looking south, kind of leaving where Jason and I are standing. Ancient lakes and potholes coolly off to the left. The Gorge Amphitheater dead ahead on the horizon. But as you just heard Jason's plan, he's going to kind of swing to the west, looking across the Columbia River to Kittitas County. Ellensburg is right over that ridge, by the way. And this was a long clip, very enjoyable to watch, but I didn't want this to be a 3-hour video, so we just did a jump cut now, and now the drone is about to cross the river. And there's a couple things to notice, I guess. Obviously, there's no sound with these drone clips. And I'm not all set up with a professional microphone here. I hope you can play along with it. I just wanted to edit this one and put it out there. So I think it's noticeable, isn't it, that the Columbia River is no longer a river. It's a lake. And to think of the 10,000 years and more of human activity on the floodplain and along the White River, the white water, it's just not there anymore. Now, do we see Lodgestick? How's your eyesight? Think you can find it? It's kind of like a needle in a haystack, and yet we're high above the river / lake. I'll bet you can all see it now. It's in the lower third of the frame, and Jason's going to steer this drone a little bit to come down. And this was his first crack at it. I've got a couple other drone clips for you, which I'll narrate again, I guess, instead of dead silence. I'm just noticing along with you, we've got some lava flows up above Lodgestick that are column formers. Some pretty well-behaved columns in the upper left. Look at those kind of fanned columns to the upper right. That's kind of interesting. And I also noticed that at the base of that lava flow, we suddenly lose the base of the vertical lug. Oh, now Jason's going to swing around for us. That's a nice touch.
So this is the power of the internet. I've met Jason once before, and that was a live stream that I did last summer during the lockdown, and we were up on Saddle Rock above Wenatchee. And so I just thought, you know what, I'm really thinking about this Lodgestick Bluff lately. Maybe Jason would be interested. So he said, yeah, I'm free. It's got to be real early morning. I'm like, well, that's great. I'm an early riser. So we met out here at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. And you're like, why would you get up that early? Well, the light is right for this wall. So let's point out a few landmarks for you. You're looking up the guts of Potholes Coulee, otherwise known as Ancient Lakes here locally. And we're swinging to the south, and we're on Babcock Bench at this level here. That's the Gorge Amphitheater. So we're looking we're looking south, so we're looking right over the stage, and the people would be sitting watching the performers. So we're kind of we're looking in the direction that the performer would be looking out to the crowd. Columbia River, of course. You can see the impressive bluffs of basalt on the west side of the river. Of years, of course. And this is private land owned by Dave and Jeannie Bishop. And so we would not have access to this site if it wasn't for Dave and Jeannie. In fact, Dave had the coffee ready for us this morning. And we wanted to get out here and do this before we visited with Dave. I hope he understands. Dave, if you see this later on, I hope you understand. We wanted to get out here before we lost this best light. So let's see how the flying is going with Jason. I will share a Instagram and Facebook link down below this video. Jason really does amazing stuff with his drone photographs. You've already heard him say he's doesn't do a lot of video, but he's going to give it a try here for us.
There.
Oh boy.
I'll get some photos of it too.
Okay.
Which we can crop and so I'm gonna take it out of video mode for a few minutes.
Sure. Are we pushing your limit there, or you feel comfortable a mile away?
Provided there are no birds, I think we'll be okay.
Oh, birds. Well, it's not till right now that I guess I realize why it was such a landmark. You can see why it would be so obvious to those guys coming down the river. Like it felt like a needle in a haystack before, but it's just lit up. From here, you can see the frickin' thing. Of course they're going to be talking about it.
Didn't make sense.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to take a 360 panorama right here.
Okay.
See if that'll come out.
Mm-hmm.
May have to back it up just a bit to catch the top of the rock face, but
Sure. Well, I just love that. Oh, look at that.
there you go.
That blue is also.
This will take a series of photos which we can stitch together and get the whole panorama.
Oh, it's automatically, huh?
Yeah. A little bit of post-processing work, but should come out pretty nice. We'll see.
Oh, man. What the heck? Isn't technology amazing? That thing's hovering and just doing all this automatically.
It's just stationary in space.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
If nothing else, we can use some of these photos.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. That's pretty incredible.
Well, you're just so good with what you're doing. I mean, obviously this isn't your first time out here. I'm amazed at your casual.
I'm getting some warnings here.
Oh, you're gonna blow the thing up now. That's nice.
Well,
Are you staying too close?
yeah.
Hmm.
It has a sensor on the front of it.
Hmm.
I mean, look at that. We're within just a few feet of the wall.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Jason, for doing this. This is a thrill.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is fun. I think I'll take a few more and back it away. I'm a little close.
Okay, yeah. So you can see how inept my camera would be, but Jason's flying. The stick is right in here. And, you know, of course, you're out here. I mean, we're right across the river from this thing, and there's, you know, you could stand here for a long time, even in this perfect light, and you truly are searching for a needle in a haystack. So there have been some photos sent to me, and even some real quick kind of drone stuff real close on the wall that I just received the other day, and thanks to those guys who sent that stuff. But I knew that Jason would be able to capture the context of this place. It's not like we're in a Walmart parking lot or something looking at this wall. This is one of the premier spots in eastern Washington for geology and hiking and hunting and everything else, fishing.
So maybe I should clarify. I don't know if you're getting confused or not between the accounts from the 19th century and now what we currently understand about the lava flows and a stick like this. You might go, oh my God, those 19th century guys were looking at an idea of a huge flood. Like, were they the first people to think about ice age floods coming down the river? Well, they were talking about a high river level, but let me reinforce, that stick is over there not because it was put there, not because the river somehow lodged that stick into the bluff. Get it? Lodgestick Bluff. I mean, the name of the bluff implies by these guys that the river lodged it in there. We now know from plenty of places in eastern Washington where petrified logs are exposed that the logs have been found almost always inside of pillow structures, or the pillowed base of a basalt lava flow. And so the concept that I alluded to a little bit earlier in this video is that those logs are back from the time of the lava flows, long before the river, long before the Ice Age floods, like more than 10 million years before the river carved this canyon and the Ice Age floods came down. So it is kind of cool to read these 19th century accounts and have these guys think about a swollen river or the riverbed being higher at one time. But that's not the correct way to view things now. We have great evidence of vertical logs within a pillowed base of a lava flow at many locations in central Washington, including on the top of a ridge high above Yakima, Washington. So this is not unusual to have a couple of vertical logs. What is unusual is that it happens to be right on that face for the early explorers to notice.
What does a battery look like in one of these guys? So you typically have 3 charged batteries?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pretty warm right now.
Oh, I'll bet. Thank you for doing all that hard work.
Don't fail us now.
A big thank you to Jason from Wenatchee. Please visit MotoJW on Facebook or Instagram to enjoy all of the wonderful photos that Jason is able to take. And you'll notice in this shot, he grabbed this photo and then colorized it or tinted it. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but made it look nice. The colors are off here because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a geologist. I don't know how to do this stuff. So I got the files from Jason and did my best with some of these video clips and hoping to do more with him. He's a gifted guy, and I'll try to make it worth his while somehow. But there's plenty to explore. This is a favorite area to enjoy in the off-season, meaning when it's too snowy or too wet up in the mountains. But in this case, to go out on a hot summer morning and to have a chance to carefully inspect this amazing Lodgestick has been a real fun experience. And it's always fun to learn new things. Oh, you know what this is? This is the last little clip where Jason is just kind of canvassing that layer. I don't know. Can you spot with your eyes any more logs? There's the one obvious Lodgestick. There's another one that's kind of small. I don't know how to describe it, but it's to the left of the Lodgestick. There's just a little, much smaller log that appears to be kind of tucked in. And that's really a point of emphasis here, that there's probably hundreds more Lodgesticks that you're looking at right now, but they're back inside of the cliff. They're not on the surface. And that means that there was a bunch of basalt and a bunch of Lodgesticks that have already been scraped away and sent down the river and shattered. And so it's a 1-2 punch. It's the lava petrified log story millions of years ago, and then it is the Ice Age floods story less than 1 million years ago.
The Ice Age flood that created the ripples was 400 feet deep and more than 40 miles an hour. Enough power to shear off the faces of valley walls, leaving rare, razor-sharp cliffs in its wake. Music fans at the Gorge Amphitheater are drawn to the venue for its unique natural setting. All eyes are fixed on the performers on the stage. But how many in the crowd can see the drama that played out behind the stage long ago?
Petrified logs. Advantage, Washington. It's all out here to see. Coulees, rocks, and canyons is scenery. Right here for you and me. 2-minute geology.